just talking quick?
I've already
Oh,
started.
you already have?
Yeah, I put something, first episode, topics, why, almost something, a little bit about ourselves, the paths that have led us to where we are, the places we are in, the places we are in those paths and where they are headed, goals of almost something. Almost something is both a critique and also is the fact that we have so many ideas that we never do anything with. The
Yeah.
inspiration is the fact that we are starting something and working towards something
Yeah.
and trying to navigate life to get home. I don't think it's meant to be a glitzy glam content that only shows the perfect picture of life, but just really, just real and authentic, non-grandiose life journal. It's not only to put content from people who may or may not know whether they connect, who we may or may not know whether the content connects with them or relates to them. But I think it's also to hold ourselves accountable to do the things we said and want to do. If you
So,
want to add anything else.
Inspiration and advice. There's something about that.
But it was more like, when you say almost something, to me, when I think about it, it's like almost something is a critique. The critique is that it's for us who, me and you specifically,
Yeah.
we have all these ideas. Sometimes we execute them. If we had to do a percentage of all the ideas we've ever came up with,
Yeah, well-
how many of them have we actually done anything about? Probably more.
20 to 1,
Exactly.
30 to 1.
So that's the critique. The inspiration is that one. Is that we
Okay.
still do
anything.
something. Not as if we don't do anything.
Yeah,
we
we
don't
do
do probably
something.
as much as we should,
Yeah.
but we do something.
Yeah.
So that's the inspiration, that you're aware of you're aware of it, and you're doing something. Almost something is still something, but it's the fact that it's a progression towards something. But it's almost something you have to keep on going.
So that it becomes
If you also don't do anything,
Ends up just being almost something.
Almost
Yeah.
something. That's what I like about it. I think, and this is something I was just thinking about, this will hopefully push us to actually do the things we say we have to do, because we have to come and, yes, you can say we're presenting it to the wider world or whoever, but it's also for ourselves. Like,
Yeah.
we can't keep on doing this
Yeah,
successively if we don't do shit. We can't come and say we didn't accomplish
Yeah.
anything. So it almost, in a way, incentivizes us
To actually prove,
follow
like,
through.
and make something
and
out of
you
it,
were
whatever
the
it
idea.
is.
So that's why I say it's almost like it's a accountability podcast.
Mostly
really.
for ourselves,
More for
and then
ourselves.
if it affects anyone else in a good way, or if it feels like they can get something out of it, then so
Which is
be
good
it.
for us. I
Yeah.
think that's the key thing that was difficult when you said we should do this YouTube stuff and all that. For me, it was like, what do I have to say? I'm like, and also I don't want to say, it seems like you almost assume a lot of pressure in which you have to present
Yes.
and you have to either entertain or inspire or educate. And I'm just like, I don't think I'm that type of person. But if it's okay, whether or not people, whoever believes, accepts, likes it, it's not a big deal. If no one views this, not a big deal. We are
Yes.
able to build ourselves, move forward in the ways that we know we want to move forward in, then I think it's worth it anyways.
Yeah.
So it alleviates the pressure of, oh, you got to make something that's going to eye-catching, it's going to
Yeah.
be grabby, it's going to be this, it's going to be that.
I think also, like, the interesting thing is it takes away the need to compare, because now it's okay. This is just something about us. We have been this way, where we have ideas, we come up with them, and then we never do anything with most of them, right? Because one, we want to get out of that habit, right? So this is something that is almost like a productivity partner in a way. So it's okay, we are going to be talking about these things, but like, we can't come and talk about the same shit we talked about 4 months ago. We did nothing about it. We can at least, in the very least, be able to see all these videos and be like, yeah, we talked about this idea 4 months ago. Look at us now. Like, we never did nothing with it. So we can go back to that. And then as far as YouTube goes, it takes away the pressure of feeling like you need to conform or fit a certain box or be like this or that channel. That puts you in a very slippery slope where you're gonna try to do things like they do, and then you probably will never be able to compete with them because they're just being them, you're trying to be them.
Exactly.
This is simple because it's like, whatever this is story of our lives.
Like you said, it's just alleviating the pressure, and it makes it easier because it's therefore It's find. You can say it's not, I don't want to say like finding inspiration, but or finding the gem, but it's just the mundane is the mundane. I'm not gonna make it more than what it is. It is what it is. And then there are people always like, oh, they want to live a life of like high flying and high Mission Impossible type shit. But it's hold on a second. Even your mundane life is the movie, you know?
Exactly.
It's the movie. It's no other movie you're gonna get. So
This is it.
this is it. You might want to be jumping out of helicopters. You gotta figure out regular life, which is also a struggle.
Yeah,
That
biggest struggle.
you're not gonna be Odysseus in the Odyssey, but sometimes life does feel like when you're struggling and everything seems like it's up against you, or you're succeeding and everything feels like it's where it's supposed to be. So it takes away that pressure of having to show something that is out of that is so grandiose that with a t-shirt stains on it, and yes, this is for the pilot episode or the test episode or whatever. Yeah, it's always good. I'm like, it's better to set very low expectations for ourselves and for the audience that or whoever is watching. So yeah, if they get bored, it's boring.
It's whatever.
But I don't know what if it's 50-50 or 60-40 or maybe 80-20. I'm trying to make this more for myself.
Yeah, that's, I think, the best way to go about it, because then whoever likes it will be someone who is, okay, I can relate to this, so I'll watch it. Because if you go to that adventure stuff, right? First of all, normal life is less than 5% that interesting shit, right? Most of it is just the boring day to day. Like, you just repeat the same probably 12, 15 things every day,
Yeah.
every single day. So those things I think are more impactful to your life long term, because if you figure them out, then, you know, those adventurous times will come and they'll go. But like, they really change nothing about, yes, you enjoy that time for sure, but then you go back to your regular life. And then if it's repeating the same self-destructive shit, then nothing really changes ever. It's almost like the adventurous stuff is an escape from figuring out the things that you
Me
should.
too. So, like I said, for me, when I came to you, actually, you've been the one who always told me about the YouTube. And my first hesitancy to do it is one feeling like you don't have much to say or much to do,
Yeah.
but and hence that's why I think choosing one the title almost something really more every time I think about it encapsulates so many different aspects of what we're trying to accomplish. And once again, I mean, if I had to really think about it, if I had to put a title for the I don't know if you want to go how many years in the past or the story of our lives up to now,
Yeah.
for me personally, it's like almost something encapsulates that feeling. It's on missed opportunities or on fully fulfilled opportunities, and it has a negative undertone. But then I look at the positive side of we've gotten somewhere from where we are, even though there is still something there, right? There's something there's not. It's not necessarily where I'm not necessarily personally feel like I am where I feel I should have been or should be, but I have to accept that I have gotten to where we are in life, and that is something. So that is why I think choosing the title almost something, the more I think about it, it really is, it's the crux of the life we have at the moment. And it might be, I feel like the crux of life in general. It could be because it's life, sometimes I hear people, like life is about purpose, life is about some very philosophical thing, and people chase life in different ways, whether it's through material things, whether it's through religion, whether it's through selfish reasons, but we're always chasing that almost something. We're all trying to get that something. And sometimes we almost feel like we're almost there, but we're also always thinking that you also once again to the paradox of it's almost something, so you keep pushing, and then also it's like almost something, so it's good enough.
Yeah, yeah. You're saying something really interesting, in the sense that if you fully attained everything you've ever wanted in life, then what's the point of living anymore? What is life going to be about? So I think also it might be exactly how life is or should be, like feeling like you're almost attaining, almost getting, because then you keep going, you keep pushing, right? And of course, you can look at it the other way also, like where it's settling. If you say, okay, yeah, I don't feel like I've gotten to exactly where I want to have gotten
But
to,
I've
but
gotten
like,
almost
yeah,
something.
I've gotten almost something, so, that's good enough. And
Yeah.
that's also okay because it's all a spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Success is a spectrum, right? Who you talk to or who you're around will determine what success means to you. If you thought you were successful in this circle and you go to another circle, then you're almost successful. Yeah. In their world, you're still
Yeah.
not yet there. So I think almost something never ends, right? When we look at the missed opportunities, the lack of follow through and all, that's also something that most adults feel like. In hindsight, when you look at maybe, there's this thing that has happened to me sometimes where I get to a point, right? And then in that point, there's opportunities that I could have been able to harness, but there's something missing. And that thing, I had the chance to actually get it 4 years ago. Like, I could have done the thing that right now is transferable to this. Maybe it's a skill or maybe it's a relationship. It's like someone I could have tried to get close to because now maybe they have the influence or the know-how that could have made it easier for me to harness this opportunity that I'm facing right now. And then we've ended up somewhere right now where I don't think we can honestly say that it's a bad place, right? Because in all those supposedly missed opportunities, what if that was the experimentation we needed to define or refine who we wanted to become, or the things we really wanted to get interested in? You understand? So it looks like we're just taking this, putting it down, coming up with this idea, putting it down for whatever reason. If we look at it in an isolated way where it's like the thing that we had an idea about and then never did anything with it, right? Then it looks like maybe we just have no follow through, which could also be part of the truth. But also the other part is if you zoom out and look at it as a whole body of things, then it's what if that was the journey you needed to go through to get here, where now you're like, okay, I know the things I want and there's no other way I could have known other than the ups and downs of brainstorming and figuring things out and then deciding, oh, there's another shiny thing, let me go to this. But maybe it could not have worked for you. You also will never know. So I think there's two ways you can look at it. You could be like, as far as the specific thing that you had an idea about that you never really followed through, yes. But
Yeah.
on the other side, here we are, man.
But I think what I just thought was that you have to say almost something is better than nothing.
Yeah.
It's better than nothing.
Almost something, but better than
But
nothing.
you just realize sometimes how life goes full circle and brings even those ideas that you may not have executed, those things you wanted to accomplish, but it's somehow you come to the point to where now is where it can be used. So for example, we're making this podcast, journaling, whatever you want to call it, about almost something, which is going to be populated by all those things that we didn't do or did do or whatever. If we didn't have those experiences, or ideas, or even attempted them or didn't attempt them, whatever, it wouldn't be. We would have to name this podcast something else because
Exactly.
we wouldn't have the ability
Exactly.
to have them. And then also in just, I think in life in general, and then something that I'm seeing now is, I remember a long time ago, I was always thinking, oh man, I really like drones. I want to do the FPV drones but I never did anything back then. Eventually, and what was in my mind why I never did it? I thought, oh man, it's too hard, right?
Okay.
It's too hard. It's too
Thanks.
expensive.
Oh, yeah, that too.
That's a big thing. So I never did anything for a long period of time. Eventually, I got an opportunity, so I had the funds to get it, and I did. So with that, it gave me the thing that I always wanted. Then I was like, oh, it's too hard. I can't. But then I was like, you've already bought it, so you have to learn. And then I learned, and then it became mundane. And then a couple of days ago, I was just thinking, I was like, shit. Remember the time when you were like, damn, I wish I could have a drone. I wish I can do this. And now it's now something that is regular. It's now regular part of my life. So yes, that idea of having drones or being able to fly drones, whatever, was something I wanted, an idea I had, but either due to a lack of self motivation, also just realistic life expenses, just life reality of not having expensive. Wasn't able to, but then it came to the point that now it is. And what I'm also seeing is that ideas and things that we've talked about. So we've talked a lot about like we've talked about businesses, finances, stuff, and all these things. And when we talked about them in the past, we didn't do anything. We didn't do as much as we probably should have, and that wasn't because we didn't want to. If we are honest with ourselves, it could be a sense of comfortability in terms of where you are currently in life, that you don't really want the headache of trying to push yourself into another place. And it could be just the reality of the ground that you did. What I'm also seeing is that ideas and things that we've talked about. So we've talked a lot about businesses, finances, stuff, and all these things. And when we talked about them in the past, we didn't do anything. We didn't do as much as we probably should have, and that wasn't because we didn't want to. If we were honest with ourselves, or at least if I'm honest with myself, it could be a laziness. It could be a sense of comfortability in terms of where you are currently in life, that you don't really want the headache of trying to push yourself into another place. And it could be just the reality of the ground that you don't have the means to.
You can't afford it.
You can't afford
right.
to do it.
Yeah.
But now, once again, it takes time for things. And it's just funny that all those things and all those ideas before and those things we wanted to do, they didn't go away. And it's almost now, when we have new ideas and new things, it just connects to those
it's like
things.
we're building on top of what
and
was.
sort of now pull those things to the present. And now when we do have the means, and we can do it. So we didn't lose those ideas. We're now sort of just integrating them into what is now the current idea that we now have, hopefully, the ability to execute on. So it's like I said, almost something is better than nothing, because it can always be brought back to life.
Exactly.
If it's nothing, nothing is nothing. It's just
gone. Forget it.
But if it's almost something, there's still a little kernel of truth